Hello, and welcome to another film review video. We'll be checking out today things of interest for the DDs in our raid by kind of examining the very successful and very stressful fight that we had on Sunday night in defense of Chalman against basically the entire EP faction. I know that this was a pretty memorable fight for anybody who was there, so yeah, it's probably a good place to begin checking out kind of what you know effective DD play looks like. This is kind of generalizable for all the roles, but it is perhaps most germane for the Nightblade finisher role, which is what I'm playing in this video. So if we kind of just proceed with general topics, I guess, I would kind of conceptually separate how to play DD into maybe two primary responsibilities. One is that you always keep your buffs up so that you have the opportunity to attack and deal maximal damage. This is, I think, kind of what separates, really high level DD play from kind of mid or low level DD play. Is, a lot of people, especially when the action gets thick, let their buffs fall off, whether that be shuffle, which lets you die, and of course a dead DD does no damage, or, your race against time, minor force, your on this build, like the Grim Focus for 3% extra or 300 extra weapon damage. Things like not cloaking up and switching to your front bar. That's on this build specifically to get that 10% extra damage done from concealed weapon. Things like that, any one of them you might think is like no big deal, whatever. But typically if you're missing one, you're going to be missing more than one. And so like if you're attacking not fully buffed up, like, yes, we have a lot of raid buffs that the group gives, but you want to do everything that you can on your own character to maximize your damage. Like the entire raid is basically, it's building a giant pyramid, like your Khufu or whatever, Egyptian pharaoh, and you get to sit as a DD at the very top of the pyramid. Like everything, the entire support structure is there to enable you, to empower you to deal as much damage as you can, because ultimately that's how we win fights, right? Like if we have amazing healers, but our DDs can't like seal the deal and get kills, it doesn't matter. We're going to lose eventually, or we'll stalemate. In order to actually win fights, our DDs need to get the job done, and that means always being as self-buffed as you can so that you can do as much damage as you can. And then the second thing that a good DD needs to do is just put yourself in position and then execute the correct sequence of attacks that'll actually let you deal your damage, like, right? So, if you're always late to a stack, right, then you're missing out on chances to deal big damage. That's especially true on this build, right? Because you have a really small range spammable with whirling blades, or whatever the execute morph is called. It's only 6 meters. It's pretty small. You basically got to be on top of the enemies you're attacking. And if you're not getting kills on this build, you're not getting your vicious death. You're not creating those chain reactions. And yeah, like if you're playing the finisher build and you're not getting KBs, then you're not really playing the build to spec how it's supposed to be, what its role is in the comp. So, you want to be on those stacks as soon as they happen. You want to be getting your steel tornado down. You want to be attacking the low health enemies because you really want to get those VD procs and burst down big piles of enemies as quickly as possible. And that enables the raid to, get out of a sketchy situation. Like let's say, in this fight, bombing on the, front door, the open door where there's meat bags and all kinds of other crazy stuff, dealing damage to the raid. Like if we have to hang around for 4, 5, 6, 7 GCDs while you spin to win trying to trying to take down a group of enemies, that's just so much extra healing that the healers have to, power heal through. That's going to be taxing their mag, potentially draining all their mag. It's going to be wasting your own resources as a DD. So, like, getting those, KBs on the stacks in 1, 2, 3 GCDs, like, that's what it's all about. If you can do that, you're doing great on the build. So, yeah, and that also means, like, aligning all of your damage rate. If you have a destro, it means getting that destro, you have 2 seconds while the destro kind of winds up. So you generally want to hit that. Then on this build, you want to cloak up. Then you want to bar swap. And then, Lotus Fan if applicable. But if not, like a lot of these indoor fights, Lotus Fan doesn't really come into play because the distances between the stacks and you as you move inside a keep is just too small. Like Lotus Fan is actually a waste of time in a lot of situations. So you want to make sure that all that damage is up, active, ticking simultaneously, so that you can be dealing as much damage in a compressed window in as few GCDs as possible. And that is to get those quick kills, allow us to save resources, allow us to keep moving because speed is king, time is everything in these fights, and the less time that we spend in a dicey situation, the better for everybody. So anyway, let's actually start watching the raid. So we've just arrived on the postern platform. The EP are through the front door. They're sieging the inner door. Might even have it down by this point. And so Stratus is immediately going to call for a bomb. And we don't necessarily know that right now, but as a DD, you've got to have in your mind that, like, okay, they're in the interior of the keep. They're probably going to be distracted. That is prime opportunity for a bomb. So when you go in, you want to have all your damage buffs up, ready to go, so that you can respond to Stratus's call immediately. Like, if you have to waste time casting, like, your shuffle or your minor force or whatever, like, while you're supposed to be getting in position to make your bomb, or if you're casting, like, your minor force when you should be casting your destro, so your destro turns on late, which means that you have GCDs on your target when your destro is not ticking, then that's all, like, very suboptimal play for a DD.
Alright, here we go.
It's been tested.
It's gonna be sweaty. Going in.
Yeah, Stratus says it's gonna be sweaty, and he's right. So yeah, here you can see that there's a cluster on the front door. There's a cluster on the inner door. Stratus is going to call it a bomb on the front door.
It's on the middle column.
So you can see my proxy is already up. It has 3 seconds left on it, so like it's about to go off as soon as I get into that stack. So this is kind of ideal proxy timing, and I'm about to hit my destro probably in this next GCD, and because I want all that damage up and ticking on the stack when it happens.
Outer door, 3.
There's the destro, there's the Lotus Fan, there's the stack, there the proxy goes off, spin to win, on to the next target.
And then the kill counters are going nuts.
You can see that with all the damage that we're taking out there, if we had to linger on the target and, like, wait around for another 5 to 10 seconds trying to get kills, one, I'd probably have no stam at the end of that because I'd just have so many fruitless spin to wins, and then also it would suck for our healers because they'd have to be power healing through a lot of avoidable damage.
Stop.
And so you can see small things, like when we come to this door, like, I'm aware that there's EP on the inside. There could have been a juicy bomb, like, on the front flag here, and so there's 2 seconds left on my proxy. It's about to go off. If there had been a stack on the front flag here, that would have put me in a great position to Lotus Fan into it, get that juicy Proxy Det, and then, probably just a spin to win would then be enough to start the vicious death chain reaction. So that's not actually the situation here. There's not too many on the inside. And so, the Proxy Det doesn't accomplish much, or at least I don't remember it accomplishing much. I guess we'll see.
Stop. Wait a second. Now push in. Backline. Oh. Gotcha. Now going in 3.
Yeah, so here I can see that there's a lot of players on the back flag. And so this is another situation, like, I want my proxy. I'm probably going to use a destro. All my buffs need to be up. And we're going to, bomb for big damage on the back flag, assuming that Stratus can get the stack off and the stun.
One One inside. Full damage on the back flag.
There's the Destro.
One, everything you got.
Dominating.
Yeah.
Nice Nova.
So go back up just a little bit here.
Stop. Wait a second. Now push in.
So
Back my back.
yeah, you can see I just cast my proxy here, and so I know just from having played in Cyrodiil for zillions of hours that it takes about 5 seconds ish to like traverse the interior of one of these keeps. So if you cast it when you're on the outside of a keep, then it'll have good timing to go off on the back flag. And then you'll see for things like snare removal, you'll see me cast those abilities a lot, right? Because we don't have snow treaders as a DD, and like the worst thing that can happen to you as a damage dealer is that like right after you hit your Destro or something, you get stunned or you take an immobilize or something that wastes those precious Destro ticks, and more importantly wastes time when Stratus has a stack and has a stun, which is only going to be like 1 or 2 seconds. And so if during those 1 or 2 seconds you have to like break out of a stun or you're fumbling around in an immobilize or something, that is, that's a bomb opportunity completely lost. And, that's all on you as the DD because, for the most part, it's completely within your power, at least for immobilizes, to not be in that situation to begin with. Obviously, we don't have like permanent immobilize or permanent immovable uptime, but you can make your educated guesses about when you're going to need the immovability. Certainly you're going to be using that, like any huge bomb is when you're going to be activating your Clever Alchemist, and that's another situation where like you want the immovability because you don't want to be randomly stunned in a big bomb. One, because you'll miss opportunity to actually get huge kills, and two, because if you get stunned in the middle of a giant pack of enemies, you're probably done, just because there's so much incoming damage against you.
Gotcha. Now going in 3, 2, 4.
And so, okay, there's the reproxy.
One inside.
There's the minor force, the race against time. So I have my minor force now. I think probably next you'll see cloak.
Okay. Full damage on the back flag.
I know that was my shuffle.
Again, 3, 2, 1. Everything you got.
And then I got pulled.
Dominating.
Nice Nova. Did they just evaporate? Oh my goodness.
It's more insane. It's so
Don't think I got to cast my dark
front
cloak.
flag needs some love.
Yeah. Hold the back flag for a second. Move off to the sides. Actually, come up to middle. Go up to the.
So here you can see, just again, I re-up my minor force, I re-up my shuffle. I am on the front bar, and I can see that my Grim Focus is up and it has max stack, so I don't actually need to refresh that at the moment, so I'm good right here. I have an ult ready to go, I have a pot ready to go, so I'm in prime position when Stratus calls to deal the next big damage phase. Like, I'm going to be able to respond to that.
Middle, we're going to drop on them. Up to middle. Dropping on the front.
And so here, like, we're about to drop, and given that the cooldown of proxy is 8 seconds, I'm probably going to be a little bit late on that because we're going to be down on the ground floor and sooner than 8 seconds. So this is a situation where like proxy needs to gravitate to the front of your priority queue as a cast. Like it needs to be cast in the next GCD basically in order to have a chance of it dealing damage on the front flag.
Flag and
So there was the re-up on proxy.
wait. Dex barrier as soon as
There's the re-up on shuffle.
you can. Dex barrier going
There's
in
the cloak.
3, 2, 1, dropping front flag now.
Going front flag with the
Still front
Destro.
flag. Outer door, moving towards the outer door.
So we can see that we have the concealed weapon buff going on right here because that entire sequence was executed properly.
Coming to the scroll.
Front flag needs some love.
Okay, we'll just watch
Yeah.
watch
Hold
more of
back
it
for a
again.
second. Move off to the sides. Actually, come up to middle. Go up to the middle. We're going to drop on them. Up to middle. Dropping on a front flag and wait. Yex barrier as soon as you can.
Here.
Yex barrier, go.
Yeah, so there's the cloak. My next GCD will be my destro, then bar swap to front bar so that you can get the concealed weapon damage buff going on as soon as I come out of cloak when I deal damage with my first spin to win.
1 in 3, 2, 1, dropping front flag now. Kill the front flag. Outer door, moving towards the outer door. Scroll now. Come in the scroll, in the scroll.
And then you can see it's just like 2 spin to wins, real easy kills because all the damage is aligned. My proxy, my destro, and my spin to win. Like you have the execute morph, right? So you want to be ticking on targets that are in that execute range. Like you don't. Ideally, your other abilities are what's putting enemies into execute range, so you can spend as least the amount of stamina as possible getting those kills. And you see here, I actually get stunned, and I don't use slippery. I hope that we can all move past slippery at some point, but you can see the instant break free. It's just muscle memory. It's easy peasy, and it's the stun doesn't even matter. Like
Scroll. Hold here.
you just react to it quickly.
Pushing back flag in 3.
So here's another. He calls for going to the back flag. I can't see the back flag. There could be tons of enemies on the back flag, and I want to have my proxy up just in case there are huge enemies on the back flag, right? Like casting a proxy, you can check out my mag. Like I have enough mag. Doesn't matter. Like I can waste a cast of proxy, but you want to, again, put yourself in the best position to deal damage as you can. And so having that proxy up, like, what does it cost me? It costs me nothing. Like, what else am I going to be casting during these GCDs, right? Like, I have my shuffle, I have my minor force. Like, these are just kind of dead GCDs. So, yeah, get that proxy up, put yourself in the best position to deal damage.
1 on the back flag now.
And see, there are actually enemies here. My proxy still going to come in a little bit late.
Back. Move to the sides. Sides.
You can see in these GCDs again, I re-upped my minor force, re-upped my shuffle.
Now come back to the back flag. Pushing front in 3.
Proxied up because I knew that Stratus was going to push front just because having played with him for such a long time.
Barrier.
Yex barrier, push front. Yex barrier again.
Take the knock up, but again, it doesn't like mess up my bomb. I'm still able to get to the stack, as soon as it happens. So again, responding to CCs, getting out of CCs, like in a lot of situations, you don't need to make CCs a bigger deal than it is. Like you just react to it, you get out of it, you keep doing what you were doing anyway.
I got it.
Transit.
And this is a situation where just like having played as DD for a long time, like you could see that there wasn't too much of a stack left on that front flag, but there were some enemies on the scroll or on the transit. So like that's kind of an executive decision as a DD to, my destro is ticking. I want to get some value out of this destro because I didn't get much value off of the initial stack in the middle of the keep. So I'm going to go and tick on these enemies on the scroll. I know I can kill them unless they're all super tanks. And then after that, like Stratus sees that and sees that there's enemies over there, so he calls for the rest of the group to go over there. But again, that's a situation where like, I'm not traveling far off crown, I'm not traveling away from heals, but I am kind of like proactively seeking out some additional targets to tick on. Not just kind of like accepting the fact that I am not going to get any value out of my destro. Like you always want to get value out of your destro within reason. You don't want to go freelancing crazily, but if you can stay on crown-ish and within range of heals while seeking out some additional targets, like do that. But also, I guess, do so if you are confident in your ability to like get out of a bad situation. Like if you do get focused or there are more enemies out there than you initially bargained on, like if you're confident that you can, like you have the skill to get back to crown in one piece, then go ahead and do that. But if you don't have that confidence, then I guess stay closer to crown, and the more that you play DD, probably the more you will improve at getting back to crown out of dicey situations, and then you'll have a little bit longer kind of like a leash range.
Nice, go across scroll. Across the scroll. Much less tanky now.
I've got barrier up
On the door. Push outside.
So again, proxy up as soon as I hear for the call to go outside.
Going outside, going outside, going outside. Yex bear.
Barrier.
Straight ahead. 3, 2, 1, straight ahead.
That I got caught in the immobilize there.
Skillies.
It took me a
Moving
little
inside,
longer to get out of it.
Inside. They're resing. Hold front flag. Hold
back
front
flag.
hold.
Juicy concentration of enemies on the back flag here. I have an ult. I do not have a potion.
Front. Damage on the back.
Did you see me cloak up there?
Damage on the back. Sorry, I missed them.
They went upstairs.
Uh-oh.
Hold back,
they've got-
hold back.
They've got like oils and stuff up there.
Hold back. Damage to the front flag. And
Yeah, again, get the proxy up. This is maybe a little bit early, but also if the call comes to go like right now, it'll actually be perfect proxy timing.
3, 2, 1. Big damage here.
So it's going to be
You know
perfect
what?
proxy timing.
Yeah. Oh, get it.
Yeah, you see the proxy is what dealt like damage for like 40% of all those enemies' health when it went off. It's very good. Like proxy isn't necessarily gaudy damage at the end of the night, but it's 100% burst damage that contributes to securing kills. It's not like random chip damage such that you see on like mag DKs and stuff where it's just like, okay, you got a lot of DOT ticks that people healed through, like that's cool. Like it's burst damage that directly contributes to getting KBs, starting your vicious death chain reactions.
Nice.
Maybe.
Nice.
Barrier.
Transit.
Another thing that I want to point out is, as I have kind of mentioned before, is like you can see I don't play with the crown beam, right? Like the only indication of where Stratus is actually seeing his character on my screen, or if all else fails, seeing the crown up there on my compass. You can see that it's not, there's no giant like crown beam shining down from the heavens to highlight him, and you don't need that, in my opinion. When putting aside like the crown on the minimap and putting aside even the ability to see Stratus, if you just listen for what he says, and Stratus is really good about calling out his intentions ahead of time. So you can see all he did was call to go to transit, and that's all the information that you need to know as a player. This is generalizable across all of our roles. If he says to go to transit, then go to transit. Like at that point, it doesn't matter like where Stratus is, like where the crown beam is, anything like that. Like he's told you where you need to be. So stop looking for the crown beam and just go to that place. And that'll allow kind of your eyes to do other things, like look for targets that are low on HP if you're a healer, or look for supplementary stacks and opportunities for kills if you're a DD. When your eyes aren't focused on like where's the beam, gotta follow the beam, then it allows you to kind of play your role more effectively, at least in my opinion. And it also is just a faster way to play. Like, right, he calls go into Transitus, you'll see I'm it's Kermit and I are the first two that are to Transitus. Everybody else in the group is behind us. So again, more proof that you don't need the crown beam. You just need to listen to what Stratus says.
Focus here, ninja. Ninja here.
Kill him.
Cross the scroll.
Back flag.
Awesome. Back flag. Go to the back.
Yeah, so Miro calls back flag. Not quite sure if that's because she needed help or if there's a juicy bomb opportunity, but I proxy up, just in case she's calling it in response to a juicy bomb opportunity.
Go to the back. Big damage here.
There's the cloak up.
Lots of damage on the back flag.
Easy kills.
Up. Let's go up postern. Up postern. All the way up. We're gonna go quick. Up and around. Get these kills fast. Go across. Actually, stop here. We're gonna jump out the D. Waiting. Jump.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So here again is like another situation where a few things will be important. One is go when Stratus goes. Like on these type of jumps, we typically do still have that staggered, we get a tail even when we're supposed to all be starting kind of at the same time. So just go when the call's to go. I might even jump a little bit before Stratus goes down just to get my proxy timing. Or to not lose my proxy timing, but you'll see I'll proxy up, I'll make sure my minor force is up. I'll make sure my shuffle's up. I'll make sure my grim focus is up. All the damage buffs roll in. I will proxy up, and maybe I'll hit my Destro on the way down. I'm not sure. We'll see.
To the south. Gorth and Bear going in 3, 2,
So there's the reproxy.
1. Go now.
Didn't Destro. I think I'm casting my grim focus again.
Jump again. Damage inside in 3, 2.
There's the cloak. My next GCD will be my Destro. There's tons of enemies here, so this is an awesome opportunity for a bomb.
1. Everything you got.
There's
on
the
front
potion.
flag. A million of them here.
Godlike.
Yeah.
Push in, push in, push in, push in, push in. Come through Miro barrier. Help already.
And so like big kill sequences like that, like it's not an accident. All that happened because like all the steps were in place to enable it to happen. All my damage buffs were up. My proxy hit, my Destro was ticking, I was doing my spin to win fully buffed up on a great stack. And you can see it's easy. It took what, 1 or 2 spin to wins to burst down like 7, 8, 9 enemies on the flag there. Like easy peasy. Like when everything is going well and like the group is buffing you and the heals are good and you're keeping up your own self buffs and the stacks are good, playing DD, you know, it becomes pretty, I mean, from a certain perspective, it becomes easy because things die quickly when you have all of your damage and your buffs aligned.
Go through back flag. Go through back flag. Rav, try to save a necro.
Okay.
And so again, like typically in the space right after a bomb, you'll always see me re-up my shuffle, re-up my minor force. 1, because I want the snare immunity, but also 2, because I'll typically at that point be like flush off of the Nightblade passive, getting resources back on enemies that I damage when they die. So you can see like both my bars, despite having dealt damage and got tons of kills, are basically back to full. And I know that my regen will keep ticking, and I don't want to like waste those resources, right? Like if you're maxed out at resources and your regen is just not restoring anything to you anymore because you're maxed out, then you're wasting that regen. So if you have an ability that you can afford to cast it, because there's basically no downside. Like you'll get those resources back likely before the next moment comes, you know, when you'll be in a resource taxing situation. You'll notice that proxy is on my back bar. It replaces my only actual sustain skill that was on there, which is the siphoning strikes. So I'm playing this entire raid without any sustain ability on my character. My only sustain is coming from the on kills passive from the Nightblade and from my potions, and I don't think there's any in this particular fight, but sometimes I'll have to sneak in some cheeky heavy attacks, but typically sustain is not an issue, and it's not an issue when you're getting quick fast kills.
Waiting back flag, pushing the front in 3. Alt gen, alt gen, alt gen, alt.
Yeah, so this is another big bomb opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't have my pot. I do have my ult pack. I'm going to be proxying. Actually, I guess I proxied up a couple seconds ago. Not sure if I'll reproxy. I guess it depends on what Stratus calls. If we go within the next 2 or so GCDs, then my proxy is probably fine. But if he instead resets the count, then I'll probably have to reproxy.
Gen, 3, 2, 1.
So I got 2 seconds left on my proxy. I'm trying to get into the middle of as many enemies as I can.
Huge damage here. Move to the right side.
Unfortunately,
To
take
right,
the stun.
In transit. Find the gate. Go scroll. Other side. Scroll.
And you'll see, like in those situations, like I guess that was an immobilize, got knocked up because again I didn't have my pot up, then took that immobilize, and the roll dodge is how you get out of that. Like we're taking kind of a lot of damage, and 1, you want to close distance as quickly as you can. 2, you don't know what kind of pot shots, like the crystal frag spammers, the snipe spammers, they're all going to be taking pot shots at you when they see that you're CC'd. So you want to roll dodge so that you just avoid all of that damage.
Sure. Necro is ready.
Okay, put it right on the doorway. Everybody push the door in. 3, 2, 1. Push the door just a little bit. Take it. Back flag. Back flag. Growth and Baron.
So that hit somebody's Nova. That's kind of a situation where like sometimes I will get a little greedy and try to push out a little bit more because there were tons of enemies just there a couple meters away from us. But since the incoming damage was so thick, you know, fighting against my own kind of tendency to want to roll the dice on getting more of those kills and instead playing it safe, obeying Stratus to the letter of the law and getting back inside the keep.
Run back. Back on the back. Nice. Waiting. We're gonna go out. We're gonna push the front flag just easy. Just don't go past the flag. Front flag. 3, 2, 1.
This is another big opportunity for kills. I will probably hit my Destro as my next ability. And then probably cloak up immediately after. My proxy is at 4. That might be a little bit too late by 1 or 2 seconds. We'll see what happens with the stack.
Yeah, hit it.
Nice stack. My proxy, yeah, you can see there's a lot of enemies that are dead by the time that my proxy is about to come up. And since Stratus was very emphatic about don't go past the flag, I'm gonna not go past the flag. So there was more on the table there for my proxy if I had it cast a couple seconds before, and that's always why you want to be kind of cycling your proxy, giving yourself the best opportunity to potentially get big damage with it, but also, you know, if that moment doesn't materialize, then just take the L and keep moving on.
Nice. Backing up. Help backline. Burst. We're going out the merchant. We're gonna sweep around and hit them. Going in 3, 2, 1. Go outside now. Move.
So in this, just from bombing, you know, a lot, you know what the play is here, right? We're gonna be getting our buffs up. We're gonna be bombing either on the precipice of the inner door or else on the front flag. Then there is a small contingency that if they all rush back flag, that could be where the bomb location is. But as you're playing this, expect the bomb location to be on the front flag or between the precipice of the front door or the inner keep door and the front flag.
Fast. Front door.
And so you want to be timing your proxy to coincide with that.
Big damage.
So here I want to cast my proxy. And we can see there's a lot of enemies kind of on the precipice of the door. We don't know what's inside quite yet. Unfortunately, I don't have my ult here.
1 on the front flag now.
Yeah, okay. So Stratus gets a pretty nice stack, and it is on the precipice of the door here. A shackle is available to me, and maybe I'll hit it. I'm not sure. I don't remember. You can see just again on my buff bar, my proxy has 3 seconds left on it, so it's not going to impact this particular stack, but pushing a little bit deeper into enemies, it might be able to get some of the ones that are closer to the front flag here. You can see my Grim Focus is at max stacks as well as activated.
Ultra kill.
So many push.
So
Back flag.
didn't quite get, you know, in range of anybody to do appreciable damage with that proxy. But I'll probably proxy up again, and it'll still probably be too late to make much of an impact on the back flag, but
Big back flag. Pushing.
finally got my Destro, casting Destro.
Big damage.
I cast my proxy just
Rampage.
in case like another flood of enemies
Damage to the front just a little
came
bit.
in.
Not far, not really. No. Stay. Get a res.
So again, even though there was kind of a nice stack there, I would have been way out on an island by myself, away from heals, away from crown, away from Stratus's explicit call to get back. You know, I've been that DD that YOLOs that. I've also seen some of our own DDs YOLO that, and the result is almost always you die, and that hurts the group. So yeah, definitely obey Stratus and don't do that.
Stay on the back. Okay, go up postern. To the middle, we're gonna jump on the front flag. Wait, kill here. These ones. Stay at postern, bottom of postern. Yeah. Get these skills, bottom of postern. Now up middle. Jumping in 3,
Okay, so this is another jumping situation. So my proxy will probably be my next cast. It looks like I have a 500/500 ult, so that's not going to be a problem. I don't have my pot, so that will be a problem. I'm subject to potentially catching a stun when I land on front flag, and so that'll be annoying. However, Proxy and Destro are two abilities that don't really care if you're stunned. Like, if you land in a clump of enemies, they'll do damage regardless of if you're hitting spin to wins or not. Obviously, you want to hit your spin to wins, but that is a situation where those abilities will go off and deal damage even if you do catch a stun. There's the Proxy. Destro is probably my next cast.
One jumping in.
No, there's Cloak.
Big damage on the.
Get the
flag.
Destro.
Unstoppable.
Nice. Push out the door. Push out the door. Necro res here. You don't have it. I know.
I don't have it.
And
sorry.
There's another situation where I see the stack of enemies here, and you know, I'm still on crown-ish, so I'm going for him.
In. Bear.
But then things get dicey, situation changes, health is going down, we're losing some people, so then it's, you know, getting kills is no longer the priority. Instead, living to fight another day becomes the priority. So there's a dodge roll because I'm getting J-beamed because I'm in, you know, lower health situation. I won't evade necessarily the damage from the J-beam, but I will, you know, evade damage from somebody's opportunistic crystal frags or spam snipe or whatever.
Bears again. Everyone bear. Oh my gosh, I can't move. What is going on here?
And again, that's a situation where like Stratus called to go somewhere, and I'm not looking for Stratus's crown beam. I'm not looking for his location on the map. I'm not looking for him even on my screen. He says to go back flag, so I'm going back flag.
Into transit. Tuck in. Save it up.
I'm putting camp. Camp is up.
Oh, yeah, back. Go back.
I was surprised, honestly, that there weren't some Nightblades camping and trying to interrupt me, but it's cool.
Go back. They can't. Everyone defend back flag. Back flag is okay. You can come into the back flag. They can't.
Ideally, we get some faster camp taking. It's taking a little bit longer. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but yeah,
Back flag.
it ends up being okay in the end.
Damage on back flag. 3.
So here's another opportunity. My ult just came up. I have cast my proxy a couple seconds ago, anticipating precisely this opportunity arising. So I'm probably going to hit my Destro here and then cloak up, or maybe go in the opposite sequence.
2, 1 full ult on the back.
There's the Destro. I might not even have cloaked up because getting the extra spammable cast was more important.
Not far.
And then you can see there, it's just like, I'm just casting spin to win on enemies, and my Destro is ticking so hard on them, plus like Stratus is dealing damage to them, that they're just coming into execute range, and like, I honestly forget what the craziest spin to win executes crits that I've got are, but it's like well over 20k, and hard to survive that if you're an enemy, especially if you're just kind of like a pugling, without, you know, not a super tank build, that you'll generally just get roasted by that, and you can see that happens. There's a nice little kind of secondary VD chain that takes down, you know, 3 or 4 enemies there on the entrance of the door.
Just in between. Easy. Stay on the back.
Just go inside.
Pause turn.
Again, Stratus is calling these locations. I don't really care where his character is. I'm not looking for a crown beam. He's calling postern, so I'm at the postern.
Bottom of pause turn. Back flag again.
Reproxied. There's not too much going on here.
Andy behind us. Sorry, ST6.
Just kill these ones that are.
Yeah, and again, just like spamming spin to win on these squishy guys with the crit build that we have with like permanent major force, you can take them down very quickly. However, this is perhaps an opportunity to mention, if they had been super tanks, not worth your time at all, not worth your resources at all. Do not cast on them. Like, they can go troll, they can do whatever, but it's not worth your time to try to take them down.
Back flag.
Got the necro.
Do the necro on Gorthan. 3, 2, 1. It's right here, right where I'm standing.
Did I get you?
Well, you missed them. I got it.
Not admit. Okay.
Wait a minute. How did I get out here? Mongo
Yeah.
is not supposed to be there. Okay, good.
Funny hijinks
I guess I
happening.
got yanked.
Okay, so there's huge numbers of enemies on the front flag.
Recover.
So that is, you know, again, as a DD, you see those, and you know, in the eye, or in the words of Nephis, you get the, you know, you get the fried chicken eyes. Like, you want to go for that instantly, and that's exactly what I want to do. I'm going to be basically listening to Stratus. You know, he's not calling the attacks with proxy in mind, so I'm kind of having to like insert the proxy timetable to how I think he's going to arrange like the timeline for our stacks. So I'm going to be wanting to get that off probably in the next small handful of GCDs, so that I'll have it ready to go in case he calls, you know, going in 1, 2, 3.
Resources.
Huge numbers on front flag.
Yeah, get ready for full alt dump. Pushing.
Yeah, so he says get ready for full alt dump, so he's going to give like a 3, 2, 1 count most likely, so I'll probably get my proxy here. Yeah, there's the proxy. There's the dark cloak. Okay, this is like as close to a textbook bomb as you can get for our raid. So let's go through it like real slow.
Pushing forward in 3.
There's the proxy. Next is the dark cloak. Then after that is the destro. I think I've just taken my clever alchemist and immovability pot again on the back bar, and after that it's just getting in prime position, getting in the middle of a bunch of enemies so that you can just kill as many as you can.
One.
There's the dark cloak. Next will be destro.
Everything front flag.
There's
Everything.
destro. There's Stratus is about to, you can see him literally mid Lotus Fan, so he's going to stack right there behind the EP flipped flag here, and it's going to be a giant stack.
Everything. Oh.
And so you can see that it is. It actually doesn't look like he got too many people with the stack. But you can see there's tons of players right now in radius of my proxy. They're in radius of my destro. You can see some of these quite large ticks going off on you know, these players that are in the radius. You can see my proxy is about to go off in 2 seconds.
Monster kill.
Most of those enemies were actually dead before the proxy went off, which again is just testament to the power of destro, testament to the power of spin to win on low HP enemies.
Kill them all.
Oh, look at that. I've never
was-
seen that many dead.
Stay here. Stay on the front. No, front door. Get ready.
That was a fairly crazy bomb here. I'll watch it one more time because it was sweet, and because I love the cheesy Unreal Tournament.
Pushing forward in 3, 2, 1. Everything front flag.
Yeah, so there's probably 20 something players here,
Everything.
and again the stack doesn't even get that many players.
Oh.
But you can see here, like, especially with these ticks like off here on the side, like these are vicious death chain reaction kills, because this is outside of my destro range. This is outside certainly of my spin to win, and my proxy hasn't even gone off. The only way that I can be getting a tick over here, especially of that magnitude, 25k damage, is because I got a kill here and then it just procced these other guys. Again, this is certainly a VD tick, this is a VD tick, this is a VD tick. So all these guys are taken out courtesy of vicious death. Again, here's another vicious death kill.
Monster kill.
That's another. There were a couple people standing here. Got the first one. This is a spin to win crit, and then this is the VD also crit.
Kill them all.
Oh, look at that. I've never seen that many dead.
Stay here. Stay on the front. No, front door. Get ready. Push out. Stacking middle columns. Kill
So that.
here. Back inside.
I think they've got to be on camp cooldown. The chance there kind of came and went.
Yeah, we gotta get some reps on this.
They split up.
Let's close it.
Kill these ones quickly.
Did we ever lose
outer door.
Getting some cheeky additional kills again as the finisher. Anytime you see an enemy with low HP, you want to make a beeline for that target.
Outer door.
Here's
Oh,
another.
3, 2, 1, right in front of us.
Renegade.
Right in front of us.
Yeah,
It's
Stratus
like-
gets kind
Very
of shafted by the pull there. I think, like, I don't know what happened. Who even knows what Rush of Agony decides to do sometimes? Like, it just does crazy things and doesn't stack where you think it should.
Big kills, big kills.
So even though
Inside,
there's a lot of
inside,
players out
inside,
here,
inside,
they're
inside,
all
inside,
pretty
inside,
well
inside, inside. Holy
Yeah,
smokes,
way
go
too many
on.
negates.
separated.
Come in.
Presumably they are cognizant of the fact that they just got absolutely vaporized 30 seconds prior inside of our keep, so they're actually like keeping their spacing.
Hold the front
I
flag.
You can see here I'm actually
like
getting
perma-
pretty low on resources here, so if this happens, I'm looking for a tank to do some heavy attacks on. Otherwise, I'm probably not trying to take my pot right here to get resources back, so I might just kind of hang out, try to cast some mag abilities. If I need to deal damage, certainly a proxy. I'm going to try not to cast shuffle. If I need a snare cleanse, I'm going to try to cast Race Against Time, because it will do the same thing as, shuffle will, but it'll cost mag, and right now I have more mag than I have stam.
Definitely slowed or something.
Backline.
There's an orb,
Yeah, hit shuffle. Moves the back.
There
moves
we
the back.
go.
so get a little bit of
Yeah, they
stam
got
back
a
from an
crazy,
orb.
like,
Here's a heavy attack.
slow CC situation.
A few more cheeky heavy attacks on this guy.
New sets or what? Recover on the back flag.
It's probably Akatosh.
Yeah.
It's a situation where I'm ignoring my own advice there about not attacking the super tanks. So you could see that I had a little bit of stand back, but then I wasted it all attacking the stupid troll tank DK.
Flag. Pushing front in 3.
There.
Luckily there's an orb and then my pot, so now I'm back to half stam, and that'll give me enough. If I can get some kills or activate the Nightblade passive here, then I should be sitting in an okay position with my stam.
Big damage
So,
on the door.
There's the
all way
Destro,
through.
there's the stack, pushing out a little bit deeper. Yeah, that's another, well, I mean, everybody knows what that was about. You could see a ton of vicious death kills there, and again, that's all because the Destro and Stratus's damage got people down in execute range, and then it's in the title of the build, finish them off.
Woohoo.
And then you can see that I actually came out ahead in terms of my stamina because of the Nightblade passive.
Back inside. Oh my goodness. Nice healing. Oh, you guys kept me alive in that situation. Inside.
Fossilize.
Hold the front flag. Stay on the front. Get ready to push them again.
Stop it.
Come on, baby.
These people are trying to.
So there's another pretty big cluster out there outside of the door. I think we have like maybe one more bomb left in this fight before we win it. And so I have my Destro up, and I have a previously cast proxy that's about to go off, but that doesn't really matter. I'll need to refresh my proxy, refresh my buffs, and then we'll probably attack out the front door.
Res
the
on,
door. Hit the door. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so refreshing my proxy late, it's not going to play a factor in this particular attack. But again, if there was another giant rush of enemies coming in from the front door, then that proxy could conceivably be useful. So I'm probably going to hit my Destro next and then cloak up, or vice versa.
On the ram.
Barrier.
Oh my gosh.
Neither.
Back up. Rav.
I'm trying. Got me.
Here you go. Nice.
There it is.
That's a situation where I think I tried to cast my Destro, but, given Cyrodiil, it doesn't always go off. You'll hear, I think it's generally advisable when you need to hit your ult, you need to spam that button in a big fight. Like, if you just cast it like, I will cast my ultimate once by hitting R, then you're really gambling on if the server gets that or not. So I recommend just spamming it, your ultimate as many times as it takes for it to go off.
There it is.
Waiting here.
No,
Wait on
we're-
front flank.
Sorry.
Get ready to push them again. Right on their reses. In 3, 2, 1. Stacking straight ahead again.
There's the Destro.
Get them. Yes. Get back inside. Burn the siege.
I think we basically won the fight at this point.
It doesn't really matter. Okay, we're okay. Push out now. We're gonna stay on the porch here. Middle columns. 3, 2, 1. Middle columns.
Barrier.
There's another stack.
Let's stay here. Back inside. Inside a little
The
bit.
shackle.
Into the ram. Staying on the porch though, but on the.
And again, you'll see that, like, generally speaking, the CCs, you know, they trap you for a GCD because they have to, just with the way that the global cooldown thing is enforced. But generally, you know, you'll see me evade them and then get back onto Crown or wherever we need to be moving to.
Ram here. Wrapping the stairs. Let's go wrap the stairs.
Yeah, and so at this point we basically won the fight, so I'm actually going to fast forward into kind of our last fight sequence of the night, where we were in the enemy keep.
Nothing yet, nothing yet, nothing yet. Waiting.
It's another situation where my ult is up, I intend to cast it, but again, it doesn't go off.
And I don't. Okay.
Which, as I say, like, in my opinion, that is on me. Like, I can blame the server, because, like, in a technical sense, like, yeah, you know, you press the R button and your ultimate should go off, but as the player, it's also your responsibility to, like, when you say that you're going to do something, to, like, see that thing through. And that includes, like, a barrier cast if you're a healer. It includes a destro cast here if you're a DD. So I'm failing to get my ult off, and we do get some kills, but we don't get as many as we could. And it doesn't, like, play a very important role in, like, the fact that we ultimately end up wiping in this fight. But, you know, every situation is different. Sometimes maybe that will be what loses you the fight, not getting those other handful of kills that you might on a otherwise great stack.
Get ready to push it. We're gonna push in 3, 2, 1. Going in net. Backing straight ahead.
Yeah, so you can see my ult doesn't go off. I'm back on my front bar now. And a lot of these guys get away with low health.
Straight.
Whereas if my destro had been ticking, a lot more of them would have died, either from the destro directly, or from the fact that I would have had a lot of extra penetration, or from those vicious death procs that would have cascaded outward.
Nice. In and left. Hit your shuffle, in and left. Shuffle.
And this is like kind of in here where this is the situation where, like, responding to the crown is not helpful, where just listening for your cues is, in my opinion, the best way.
In and left. Nice, really nice job. In and left. Damage on her tail. 3, 2, 1. Pushing into them here on
Proxying up, not a stack worth blowing a destro on.
Push in. Keep coming.
Easy kills.
Burning can't. On the breach again. On the breach. 3,
Barrier.
2, 1. Back in the breach.
That destro cast comes in a bit late. Get lucky because Stratus comes in with a
You guys
stack
can join,
afterward.
sure, if you're not already in here.
My destro's still ticking, so I'm fishing
Pause
for
in,
some
pause in,
extra
pause in,
kills.
pause in. 3, 2, 1. Now.
Fuck on. Oh, that's it. Duh.
Oh, backline bears. Everybody bear. Spam them. Move back of the key.
So we've taken some losses here already.
Back of the key.
I'll go barrier.
North.
Things are not
Go to
looking
tower.
particularly good.
Watch your step in the tower. Upstairs.
Probably Rad, save up for your necro.
Let's clean up a few of these. Hold on, maybe don't.
Barrier.
Okay, here we go. Dropping inside.
So
Drop in.
get the proxy up. We don't ultimately end up having any stack here. I see those enemies, I kind of want to bomb on them, but again, we're taking a lot of damage here, and that would have been ultimately a stupid thing to do.
Under the wall now. Under the wall.
Really annoying dark convergence pulls.
There's so many people that I feel like get Gorthin up. Tuck in here. Res on Gorthin. But I feel like we kill like 18 times in a fight. Holy smokes, look at that tanky. Not even burning them. Got everybody?
Revenge of the
Back up,
super
back up,
tanks.
back up, keep.
I'm actually surprised that we got everybody up. I don't remember that happening at the time.
Barrier.
I'm pretty low on mag here, so I'm going to try to get a cheeky light attack, or
You
cheeky
guys-
heavy
you guys
attack.
are
Here
in
we
there.
go. Yeah, there's
We're
the cheeky
inside.
heavy attack.
Yeah, it's pretty. Hold on.
They
Pretty
sealed the
spicy.
wall.
Drop
Oh,
down
that's
into
not
that.
good.
Trying to keep my
Holy
snare
smokes,
immovability up here.
So much damage.
I got pulled.
Barrier. Karmic barrier. Karmic. Well,
Taking CCs, but getting out of CCs.
3, 2, 1.
Stratus activates his barrier, or his destro.
Pushing west under the wall. Help back line.
I see that stack and, you know, it's not worth it.
Everybody barrier.
Alright, that actually was kind of funny. I got the spectral bow kill on that person. That's like the one time when you're, you know, when it's okay to use your spectral bows. If you see a squishy person at low HP who's otherwise going to get away from you, then you can unload your spectral bow. But try, like, that's not really meant to be used in the course of fighting.
Manga. Moving south.
Manga barrier.
And I'll need to like rebuild my spectral bow stack. So here you see I'm recasting Grim Focus, and I'll try to get some light attacks in to build those bow stacks back up. Not because I want to refire the spectral bow, but because I want the 300 extra weapon damage.
Are you guys still able to attack that wall?
We
Maybe just go to the front door. Do a ram on the front door.
ran the front door.
Yeah, just do that. We'll keep them off you. Get ready for damage back behind us here.
Probably, yeah. So the proxy was cast a couple seconds ago. It has, it might be a little bit late depending on what develops with this stack and the enemy situations. There seem to be a lot of enemies on the other side of this door, so I might blow my destro, but if I were just looking at this without any other information, I would say that doesn't look like a number of enemies worth blowing a 500 destro on, but... Okay, so there are some more enemies that are trickling in.
Stacking behind.
So cast that destro. Yeah.
Just nice and slow on our tail. Just in us.
We have enough ult gen, but in a vacuum, that was not super great value for that destro.
Kill him. Mira. Moving underneath.
So I'm going to be trying to get some cheeky kills and rebuild my ultimate.
On our tail again. 3, 2, 1, right where we killed them before. Pushing them. Under the wall. Barrier. In underneath. Waiting in the tower. Bottom floor.
It's pretty good group movement here.
Middle columns in 3, 2, 1. Out middle.
I have my proxy already activated. I do have a destro if I want to use it.
Backing straight ahead. 3,
My dark
2,
cloak.
1. Courtyard.
But there's nothing really here.
Far side.
Here's an opportunity for a bomb. I have re-proxied during this fight for precisely this reason. I'll probably use my destro here.
East, southeast.
Nope, because Stratus calls to go in the opposite direction. That would have been a nice bomb, but it also would have been a little bit risky because there's so much incoming siege here.
Straight across.
So I can see why he decided not to attack.
Waiting. Damage on our tail. 3, 2, 1. Hit here on our tail.
So with that, you'll see that there's a bad negate here, and had to go outside of the negate radius to cast my destro.
Yeah. Lots here. Kill.
Get some decent kills.
Front.
You'll see I'm low HP. I was down to about 25% HP. This is dodge roll city. Like, that's all that you should be doing. Yeah, dodge roll, because even though a lot of the damage that you're taking is AoE, all it takes is somebody's stupid crystal frag that they're spamming from the top of the keep. Like the top of the... is it the keep? Yeah, the keep. Anyway, all it takes is for some random person to cast a crystal frags on you or a snipe spammer to hit you, and then, you know, you die when you're that low HP. So this is kind of how to not be a paper cut death, is doing things like this when you're low HP.
Yep. Oh gosh.
And then you'll see I'm blocking.
Go up.
Actually, that's something I probably, during the course of this video, if you can recognize the animation, the Psijic ability gives you a damage shield when you block when you're on your back bar. As a DD, you should always be on your back bar when you're not attacking. And I try to block a lot because over the course of a raid, like, it does suck up a lot of incoming damage. But blocking is especially critical when you are in those low HP situations, because you're about to get focused. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows what to do when they see a low HP person in a ball group. Everybody's going to jump on you. So you need to pull out every trick that you can to get back to heals, to get back up to health. You need to be dodge rolling the single target damage. You need to be blocking the AoE damage. Yeah, and that's how you stay alive and don't die as a paper cut casualty.
save necro res there.
Batting 8.
Up top. Top. Higher.
So he's calling for the top for, again, having played with Stratus for as long as I have. Generally, when you go to the top, it's because you want to bait up a bunch of pursuers, and then you dump on them as soon as they get up to the top. So I've cast Proxy on my way up here because I want the Proxy to be going off when the expected pursuers end up arriving.
Damage in drop down in 3, 2, 1. Big heals. Drop down.
Try to get some kills, but it's not there.
Down.
Or it's not feasible to pursue these kills. Like, if I'd turn around right here, I would have been dead. So that's a situation where, like, for 1 GCD, maybe 2 GCDs, I tried to thirst them. But if I had tried to thirst them for 3 or 4 GCDs, I would 100% be dead, and then we'd be down, you know, one of our DDs. And when we only run 3, that's a huge deal.
Big kills.
So Stratus goes to the bottom. I'm going all the way to the bottom. I'm not following the Crown Beam.
All the way to the bottom.
Proxying up
Come
because
back to the keep.
they're going to be following us.
Barrier. Anyone barrier. Mirror.
Extremely dicey times. I'm keeping my snare immunity up here by casting Race Against Time.
Go back to keep. Back. Full ult
Probably,
behind us. 3,
yeah.
2, 1.
Proxying up again and just cast my Destro.
Ult's behind us now. In us.
This is an opportunity for really huge kills, but it's also very dicey. We're down a bunch of healers, and people are taking damage on their health bar. It's unclear how many barriers we have here, but at the same time, this is kind of like a decisive moment in this fight. You can see from the video that, you know, we are about to die here.
Kill him now.
But this is a situation where you need these kills.
No. Yes. Nice.
So that was tons of damage there. I'm taking an immobilize and I'm low HP, so obviously I'm not looking too long for this world here.
Push them.
Of course, if you look at the health bars of everybody else in the group, that's true for most.
Push them.
So
Back to the keep now. Back.
you can see that somebody got popped, which popped me because I was lower health, and then the rest of the people ended up going down. So anyway, that's how we met our end here. And, you know, when we're locked into the keep, that's inevitable. Like, at that point, we're just playing the game of how long we can survive inside the keep. And as an exercise, that's good to practice group movement and whatnot. But yeah, it's always going to end the same way, unless we just hop out or go to Imperial City or something. But yeah, you can see we got tons of kills there, and, you know, but it doesn't really matter because we all died.
That is an insane number of them.
Mongo loves it. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of the conclusion of the video. I hope that some of these things are illuminating to those who either currently play DD or who want to play DD. Again, kind of what I was talking about previously, you know, we only run 3 DDs. It's not like healers where, you know, if you die as a healer, say, there's still 6 other healers healing the group. If you die as a DD, then you only have 2 DDs left to provide all the damage for the group. And again, if that damage doesn't come, if we can't get the kills, then it doesn't matter. Like, nothing else that happens in the raid matters at that point. You know, because you can't, like, heal a group to death, right? You can't support a group to death. Like, you need to get the kills, you need to get the KBs. That's the only way that you can win a fight. So yeah, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit here, but yeah, that's what happens. Oh yeah, where I was going with that is that, you know, lots of people like want to play DD, but it's a little bit kind of the Boromir, like one does not simply play DD in a raid, right? Just because, you know, it is very much its own kind of specialized skill, right? Like, you can be a rockstar PvE DPS, you can be a rockstar kind of ganker, you can be a rockstar 1vx player who also, you know, gets kills on large groups of pugs. Maybe that's the most kind of transferable skill to raid bombing, because if you're 1vxing and you're getting kills, like, you're being very opportunistic and you're exploiting, you know, your burst damage. But yeah, like, being a good raid bomber takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of reps, a lot of practice. It doesn't, like, typically people don't just step into it on their first time out the gate and dominate. Maybe like Kermit and Azrael and Gustav approach like that the most. But generally speaking, like it's something that you really have to work on, and yeah, just try to get that experience wherever you can, whether in the main group or in ST6 or whatnot. Yeah, it's just it's something that requires a great deal of practice, I should say. And anyway, apart from that, you can see buffs are incredibly important. Having things like your proxy up to give you the best opportunity to deal damage in key situations is very important. And so is, you know, putting yourself physically in the best position to deal damage. Yeah. So anyway, this is a longer video. Hopefully it'll be useful for our DDs and anybody who's interested in becoming a DD. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.